Most people believe they are poor because they don't earn enough, but the real reason goes much deeper. The credit system is built to trap you. From the moment you get your first loan, the money you receive already belongs to the bank until you pay it back, with interest you didn't create. This imbalance forces you to work harder just to stay in place. You think you're making financial progress, but the truth is, you're running on a treadmill designed by institutions whose profit depends on your struggle. Credit feels like free money because you get it instantly, without waiting to earn it. But what you actually receive is time borrowed from your own future. Every swipe of a credit card creates a silent contract. You promise future work, future hours, future sacrifice. The system relies on this illusion. People spend more when they don't feel the pain immediately. And the banks don't care if you're ready or not. They profit the moment you commit to them. The moment you accept debt, you accept dependence. You may feel in control because you chose the loan, but the structure of interest means the longer you pay, the more you owe. This dependency forces millions of people to stay in jobs they hate, accept lower wages, and fear taking risks. Debt becomes a quiet master, controlling your choices, limiting your freedom, and shaping your future without ever raising its voice. Banks don't make money when you succeed. They make money when you struggle. A borrower who pays slowly, misses deadlines, or refinances again becomes a long-term revenue source. In fact, the ideal customer for a lender is someone who never fully gets out of debt but never fully defaults either. The system rewards your weakness, not your strength, turning your financial stress into their predictable income stream. Interest is the silent killer of your wealth. When you borrow $10,000 at a high rate, you're not repaying $10,000. You may end up paying $15,000 or even $20,000 over time. This means every loan is a tax on your future productivity. And since wages rarely grow as fast as interest rates, your debt grows faster than your income. That's how people fall behind without realizing it. The math is working against them from day one. Banks and credit companies invest millions into studying human psychology. They know you're more likely to overspend when the payment pain is delayed. That's why credit cards encourage small monthly payments. They don't want you to clear the balance. They want you comfortable enough to keep spending, but stuck enough to never escape. Your brain is being hacked by an industry that profits from your emotional decisions. Once you accumulate multiple loans, debt begins to compound on itself. A missed payment leads to fees, which increase your balance, which increases interest, which increases the total you owe. This creates a snowball effect that grows faster than you can push it uphill. Many people don't fail financially because of one big mistake. They fail because of many small ones that grow quietly over time. Credit allows you to live a lifestyle you haven't earned yet. You buy the nicer phone, the bigger TV, the branded clothes, but you're borrowing your identity from a bank. This artificially inflated lifestyle prevents you from investing or saving, because all extra income goes into paying for yesterday's decisions. People stay poor not because they lack ambition, but because they rent the lifestyle of someone richer. Your credit score is marketed as a measure of responsibility, but in reality, it's a behavioral control tool. It rewards you for staying in debt and punishes you for escaping it. Paying off loans too fast or closing credit lines can harm your score. Why? Because the system prefers borrowers who remain active, predictable, and profitable. Your credit score isn't about trust, it's about training. Most people never escape the cycle because every major expense, cars, homes, education, emergencies, pushes them back into borrowing. Even when income rises, expenses scale with it, leaving no room to build real wealth. Eventually, credit becomes a lifestyle rather than a tool. You stop asking if you can afford something and start asking if you can make the monthly payment. That mindset guarantees you stay in the system forever. The scariest part of credit is not when you borrow too much. It's when you borrow just enough to feel comfortable. This soft trap convinces you everything is under control. The payments are manageable, the due dates are clear, and you feel responsible. But this illusion hides the truth. You are still giving away tomorrow's income for today's emotions. The trap isn't the size of the debt, it's the habit it creates. Minimum payments are engineered to benefit banks, not you. When you pay only the minimum, most of your money goes to interest, not the balance. This means your debt barely shrinks, even though you pay every month. It's a psychological trick. You feel responsible, but financially, nothing changes. Many people spend years paying minimums, believing they're doing the right thing, while banks quietly collect profit. Fast money always has a hidden cost. Payday loans, quick credit approvals, instant online lending, all of them trade speed for financial damage. These loans target desperation, not logic. When you're stressed or scared, you'll accept terrible terms just to solve a problem now. But that temporary relief becomes long-term pain. You don't pay for the loan. You pay for the urgency. Credit companies rely on your emotions, sadness, stress, insecurity, boredom. Emotional spending creates the perfect customer. Someone who buys for comfort rather than value. Every unnecessary purchase increases your dependence on credit, and every monthly bill reminds you of a moment of weakness. Debt is rarely created by lack of knowledge. It's created by lack of emotional control. People often take loans not because they need something, but because society expects it. A nicer phone, a better car, a bigger apartment, all become symbols of success. Credit allows people to appear wealthier than they are, and society rewards the illusion. But illusions need constant payments. Social pressure becomes financial pressure, forcing people into debt just to meet expectations that never end. Debt creates a false sense of urgency. You see others achieving milestones, cars, homes, gadgets, and you feel behind, but you don't see their debt. Credit makes everyone appear richer than they are, creating unrealistic standards. You try to catch up by borrowing, but all you really do is join the same race of silent financial stress. Nobody is ahead. They're just financed differently. Debt is modern financial slavery. You're not owned by a person. You're owned by your obligations. Your schedule, your choices, your energy are shaped by what you owe. The system doesn't need chains anymore. Monthly payments are enough. As long as you're paying, you're controlled. And the scariest part is how normalized it has become. Being financially chained is now considered adult life. A $200 loan doesn't seem dangerous. But when combined with another $300 balance, plus a credit card, plus a small missed payment, the problem becomes massive. Debt scales quietly. Small numbers feel harmless, but they add up faster than your salary. Most people don't drown from one big wave. They drown from many small ones they ignored. Financial problems grow invisibly until they become impossible to manage. Banks use algorithms to predict not just your financial habits, but your psychology. They know when you're most likely to spend, when you're stressed, when you're impulsive. Your data, location, purchases, timing is analyzed to target you with offers at the perfect moment of weakness. You think you're making choices, but in reality, you're being guided. The system doesn't just observe you, it influences you. Your stress is profitable. The more worried you feel about bills, the more likely you are to refinance, take another loan, accept bad terms, or delay payments. Lenders understand this pattern and design solutions that relieve stress short-term but increase debt long-term. Your anxiety becomes a product, and like any product, the system wants more of it, not less. The deeper you fall into debt, the harder it becomes to escape. Not because you lack intelligence, but because your financial energy is drained by interest, fees, and constant obligations. When your paycheck disappears instantly into payments, you lose the ability to invest, save, or build stability. It feels impossible because the system is designed that way. Your exhaustion is part of the model. The middle class is the most vulnerable group because they have enough income to borrow, but not enough to escape. They take loans for homes, cars, renovations, weddings, vacations, believing it's normal. Their income is high, but so are their obligations. They don't feel poor, but they never feel free. Credit gives them comfort, but steals their future. Interest steals your potential. The money you could invest, grow, or use to build a business instead goes to a lender. Over a lifetime, the average person loses tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments. This is wealth that could have created freedom, but instead funded someone else's empire. Every dollar of interest is a dollar your future self will never see again. Debt doesn't just control your money, it controls your time. Every loan is a contract that sells future hours of your life. The time you spend working to repay debt is time you can't spend with family, learning skills, building a business, or improving your life. In this way, debt becomes a time thief, quietly stealing years from people without them realizing what they traded away. Debt affects more than finances. It affects your identity. You start to doubt your abilities, avoid looking at statements, and feel ashamed of your situation. This emotional weight reduces motivation and causes people to freeze instead of taking action. Debt becomes a shadow that follows you everywhere, shaping how you think, what you believe you're capable of, and how you imagine your future. People are taught that some debt is good, especially when it comes to education, homes, or business loans. But even so-called good debt carries risk because it chains your future to an uncertain outcome. A degree doesn't guarantee a job, a house doesn't guarantee stability, and a business loan doesn't guarantee success. Good debt is still debt, and once you sign for it, your life adjusts around the obligation, not the opportunity. Loan agreements are intentionally confusing. Legal terms, complex percentages, variable rates, all designed to make you focus on the monthly payment instead of the total cost. This confusion benefits lenders because when people don't fully understand the contract, they underestimate future risks. The small print is not there to inform you, it's there to protect them. Refinancing sounds like financial relief, but often it's a strategic trap. When you refinance, your monthly payment drops, but the total length of the loan grows. You end up paying more interest over a longer period, even if it feels easier now. Banks love refinancing because it resets your debt cycle, keeping you in the system longer and guaranteeing them more income. People think lenders sell money, but what they actually sell is debt itself. You don't buy a product, you become one. Your predictable payments create a reliable income stream for corporations. The more you borrow, the more valuable you become to them. Debt transforms you from a customer into an asset that produces monthly profit. In this system, you are not consuming credit. Credit is consuming you. Every debt reduces your freedom of choice. You can't switch jobs easily, you can't relocate spontaneously, you can't take risks, and you can't build a new life. Debt locks you into a rigid structure where every decision must pass through the filter of, can I afford the payment? This limits creativity, mobility, ambition, and even happiness. Debt is not just a financial burden, it's a cage. People with debt struggle to save not because they lack discipline, but because their income is already pre-spent. Interest steals the money that could have gone to savings. By the time the bills are paid, there's nothing left. This creates a cycle where saving feels impossible. And because you cannot save, you rely on credit even more. Debt kills savings, and lack of savings creates more debt. A perfect trap. The modern economy is built on borrowing. Governments borrow, corporations borrow, individuals borrow. Consumption grows only because credit expands. This means the entire system depends on people staying in debt. If everyone became debt-free tomorrow, the economy would collapse. Understanding this reveals the truth. You are not failing as an individual. The system is designed to keep you borrowing. Debt pushes everything you want in life further away. Travel, family, business, personal goals. Each monthly payment steals resources that could move you closer to your dreams. Instead of planning your future, you spend years repairing your past. Dreams don't die because they are impossible. They die because debt drains the energy needed to pursue them. When you buy things on credit, you don't truly own them until the final payment is made. The bank owns your phone, your car, your furniture, sometimes even your home. You hold the object, but they hold the rights. This illusion of ownership keeps people satisfied, but the truth is simple. Until the debt is gone, everything you own can be taken away. Debt doesn't only hurt your wallet, it affects your health. Stress from unpaid bills increases anxiety, destroys sleep, and even weakens the immune system. People feel physically sick because of financial pressure. Debt becomes a chronic stress source that your body carries every day. Over time, it exhausts you emotionally and physically, making it even harder to escape. Debt is often inherited, not legally, but behaviorally. Children watch their parents use credit for every expense, and they grow up believing debt is normal. This creates a generational cycle where financial mistakes are repeated. The habits you carry become the habits your children adopt. Breaking the cycle requires awareness, discipline, and a refusal to normalize debt as a default lifestyle. Without savings, even a small emergency can push people into debt. A medical bill, a car repair, a broken appliance, these minor events become financial crises. Credit becomes the default solution, and the more you rely on it, the more vulnerable you become. Preparedness is freedom. Lack of preparedness is what keeps millions trapped in debt they never planned for. A debt mindset focuses on monthly payments. A wealth mindset focuses on long-term value. Poor people ask, how much per month? Wealthy people ask, what is the total cost, and does it grow or drain my future? This shift in thinking changes everything. When you stop measuring life in payments and start measuring it in opportunities, you automatically make better financial decisions. Everyone reaches a moment where they could escape debt, but most don't recognize it. Maybe it's a raise, a lower expense, a bonus, or a period of fewer bills. Instead of using that window to pay off debt, people upgrade their lifestyle. The turning point becomes a missed opportunity. Escaping debt requires choosing discipline at the exact moment life tempts you to relax. Every financial turnaround begins with a single decision. I refuse to live like this anymore. This moment is powerful because nothing changes until your mindset changes. Debt makes life feel out of control, but the decision to fight back returns control to you. It doesn't erase the numbers on paper, but it transforms the person who faces them. Once you shift from avoidance to action, the system loses its power over you. Debt is not your enemy. Ignorance is. Banks rely on people not understanding interest, contracts, or long-term consequences. When you finally see how the system functions, the illusion breaks. You stop blaming yourself and start recognizing the mechanics designed to trap you. Knowledge turns fear into strategy, and strategy is the only antidote to lifelong financial struggle. Escaping debt requires responsibility, but not shame. Shame keeps you stuck, hiding from bills and avoiding reality. Responsibility empowers you to act, even if the situation feels overwhelming. Many people mix the two, believing that taking responsibility means blaming themselves. But responsibility is not guilt, it's control. Once you separate the two, you can finally move forward. One of the most effective ways to fight debt is learning where every dollar goes. People underestimate how much they spend on subscriptions, snacks, transportation, and small habits that seem harmless. When you track your spending, you expose the leaks in your financial bucket. Awareness turns chaos into clarity and reveals money you didn't even realize you were losing. Random payments equal random results. A clear strategy, snowball, avalanche, or hybrid, turns debt repayment into a predictable path. The point is not which method is best, but which method keeps you emotionally committed. Consistency beats intensity. A strategic plan transforms debt from a monster into a math problem, and math can be solved. Most people try to escape debt by earning more, but that rarely works because lifestyle expands with income. The real breakthrough comes from reducing lifestyle, temporarily shrinking expenses to free up cash. It feels uncomfortable, but it creates space for progress. Debt doesn't disappear by accident. It disappears when you redirect resources with purpose. Before aggressively paying off debt, you need a small emergency fund. Without it, any unexpected event will push you right back into borrowing. A basic fund, even a modest one, creates stability and breaks the cycle of endless emergencies. It gives you breathing room, reduces stress, and protects your progress from falling apart the moment something goes wrong. Breaking free from debt means breaking free from other people's expectations. You must learn to reject pressure from friends, trends, and society. Saying, "I can't afford that," is not weakness, it's power. You are choosing your future over temporary approval. People will always spend money they don't have, but you don't have to join them. Momentum is your greatest weapon. Once you pay off one loan, even a small one, your confidence grows. The emotional rush of progress fuels more discipline. Debt repayment becomes addictive in a good way. People don't stay consistent because of math. They stay consistent because they begin to believe they can win. There comes a moment when the numbers start dropping, your budget feels lighter, and your stress begins to fade. This is the turning point, where people shift from survival mode into growth mode. Progress is self-reinforcing. The more you see, the more you push. This moment proves the truth. Freedom is possible. As debt shrinks, you begin to rebuild the part of yourself that debt once destroyed. Your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone capable, disciplined, and in control. The shift is internal first, external second. People respect you more, opportunities open, and your self-worth rises. Becoming financially free is not only about numbers, it's about becoming a stronger version of yourself. Once you break free from debt, your brain stops operating under survival mode. Creativity increases, ambition returns, and stress fades. You think clearer, make better decisions, and finally have the mental space to focus on goals instead of bills. Financial freedom becomes a psychological upgrade, not just an economic one. Wealth doesn't begin when you earn more. It begins when you stop losing money to debt. The money you once gave to interest now becomes your investment fuel. Every dollar saved becomes a dollar that works for you instead of against you. This is the moment where you shift from consumer to owner, from payer to investor. A life without debt is a life without payments. No car payments, no credit cards, no loans draining your income. Suddenly, your money stays with you. Freedom feels strange at first because you're so used to owing something to someone. But this is the life most people never reach. One where you can choose your future instead of financing it. When debt is gone, your relationship with money changes forever. You stop fearing it and start using it intentionally. You no longer chase upgrades, you chase growth. Money becomes a tool, not a master. And for the first time, you feel in control of your destiny. This is the mindset that builds real wealth, the kind that lasts.